Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we're back, another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Saturday, May 17th. Apologies that I wasn't there. Post game for the Knicks, Madison Square Garden likes to kick us out, and I didn't know how long pressers were going to take after the loss. But they ended up doing a few pressers that night and then the rest today. For exit interviews, we're also talking to Brad Stevens early next week as you're hearing this. So, as an update for those who are wondering what's happening, but Celtic season's over. I haven't reacted on here to the Knicks loss, so I'm sure we can talk more about that and everything. What's up, Sam?
I've had better days. I anytime there's a big loss like this, I think of the Family Guy where Peter has a stroke and he's sitting on the couch. And do you know where I'm going with this?
No,
it's
Lois. The deadpan way you said it. Yeah, every time there's a loss, I think about having a stroke.
I would say probably season-ending loss or a bone-crushing, soul-crushing loss that entails that the season is over. Yeah, I think of Peter Griffin sitting there half face drooping, one arm limp, and Lois asks him how he's doing, and he's just like, "I've had better days, Lois, better days," and that's how it feels to be thinking about this team. It's worse this year, and we'll get into it all, but having it, this season as a whole felt a lot like a Last Dance type of situation, knowing the CBA was going to crack down and be like, give up your players or else in the summer, and they're going to have to do it, and they underachieved, and stinks, lousy way for it to end. I said as a 60-year-old man over here saying lousy.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't pretty. That's not a word you can use to describe it. I wrote a whole article about everything that happened, the perspective of it all, how it relates in the context of them winning a title the year before, the future, just sort of an end-all, tell-all of how the season ended and what everything means. And that's up on Harbor Houdini if you want to go read it. It's just called "The Celtics Hit Rock Bottom and Still Something Worth Believing in." It's always tough. My whole question, their line of questioning, these past 2 days when I'm asking these guys about the loss was how do you process this one game that was, I didn't use these words when I asked, but gross, disgusting, a disaster loss, but also you had a 61 season, you won a championship with the same group last year, right? It's easy in the moment to sit there and feel the heartbreak and the heartache. And that's a complete heat of the moment thing. But at the same time, you guys have accomplished so many great things as a group. And for as much as they played like shit for this one series, we always come on here in regular season games and playoff losses and talk about, all right, well, was it bad execution, bad effort? Did they try? I don't think they're out there not trying. Even in game 6, they were trying. They just sucked. They just couldn't do shit.
They tried too hard.
It happens, man. Dud games happen. And I think Peyton Pritchard said it too during the press conference today. He was like, yeah, game 1 and 2 is really what you look at. Cause game 6, the Knicks just played their best game of the series and we didn't have it. Sometimes that shit happens, but the context of you were in that position because they blew 3 games, that's where that comes up. And so it's just hard to contextualize everything that way. And my biggest takeaway that I outlined in the article that I wrote, a lot of it is losing is the norm in the NBA. As weird as that is to say, you don't win every year. You just don't. Losing is usually what happens. This feeling, the way that this season has ended, this is usually how seasons end, by and large, for most teams. One team gets to win every year, right? And I detailed it, the Nuggets 1-23. Surrounding that, second round exit, ugly loss in the first round because they were hurt. 7-game series in the second round, just losing the conference finals. Even the fucking Warriors, right? The Warriors are this dynasty team where they won 3, titles in 4 years, but after that they, lost, and then they had 2 disaster, no playoff seasons, and then they finally got back, and then they've lost 2 years since, right? Peyton Pritchard said today, I asked him the same, how do you process a question? He's like, look at the Spurs, right? They're a dynasty, right? But does that mean every year that they didn't win a title was a failure? Are there all those individual teams failures? I guess in a sense, if you want to think about it, yes. But that means you're going to fail 99% of the time. That's just the reality of playing the NBA. Joe Mazzulla said it too. He's like if you're going to be a coach in this league for a long time, you're going to have more heartbreaks than successes. That's just how it's going to work. And it sucks because as people talking about it and covering it, and as fans who are invested day to day, like you have to be a prisoner of the moment, right? Like that is part of it. And for the time being, that sucks, and it's gonna suck, especially in the context of we don't really know what the future of this Celtics team looks like. But at the end of the day, like you just don't get to win a championship every year, and it hurts more when it is a team that could have done it and was favored to do it and lost in a series where everyone expected them to win because again, I said it a million times, give the Knicks credit. They made great adjustments and they won basketball games when they needed to and picked up their play when they needed to. So all of that hurts, but in the grand scheme of everything, like the context is you don't just get to win every year and it sucks. And this was like not a nice, but like a important humility moment, as Luke Cornett used the word earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a humility moment. It's disappointing. I know Pritchard went and turned into Giannis up there today and was like, disappointment? What do you mean disappointment? The Giannis quote is always so funny to me because, like, their first round exit when he said that was, like, the epitome of disappointing. Like, it was just not supposed to happen. They were nasty that year. But, like, listen, man, like, I understand the context. Like, these championship teams do not repeat right now. It's just not a thing that happens in the NBA in the current decade, and it stinks because Celtics had a real chance to repeat. Like, even with the shit that has hit the fan, right? Porzingis, mystery illness, Jalen, the injury we now know about, which we'll talk about, Tatum, Achilles. If they just finish off those first two games, they would have won this series. And then they would be playing the Pacers in the next round. Without Tatum, I don't know if they would beat them. But the path to the finals may not even consist of OKC. To a championship may not even consist of OKC. Like, the stars aligned for them to have a favorable path again. They just didn't take advantage of it. Listen, I don't think they should be killed for it. A lot of these guys have played their last game as a Celtic. Like, they shouldn't be remembered for this series. Like, this should not be the defining moment for them. They won a title last year. Mm-hmm. They deserve everyone's respect. Porzingis deserves people's respect. I wrote about him last night because I just thought he was getting, like, roasted for not no reason, but, like, he didn't choose this. And, like,
of course,
like, I don't know. It's just really bad luck on his end. I get it. Like, he's injury prone, and, like, you could be injury prone, but you can also be tough at the same time. Like, the dude has to battle back through these things, and
there is toughness, and then there is having the correct awareness to know when to sit yourself down, in my opinion. Like, and it's on Joe, but it's also on him. Like, there comes a point where you just got to say, all right, I don't have it. It's better if I sit out for the team. And I get pride and I get wanting to. And for what it's worth, he was like the second best player in game 6.
He actually wasn't that bad in game 6.
I will also say, to your point about like the, and I don't know if there's going to be any timestamps in this episode. It just might be Celtics NBA timestamps because we're going to be all over the place. But to your point about the like, oh, quote unquote, easy path, right, to a title. I think that narrative, I understand it, and I do think it's true year to year, but I do think the more you look back at this year and past years, it's kind of fake because, I mean, in the context, the Celtics losing is the reason that this finals path is going to be easier. Like, that's part of it. But also, when is the last time there wasn't one of these? It's always like this. Look at last year. Donovan Mitchell, Jimmy Butler are hurt, so the Celtics get that path. And then you get the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals instead of the Knicks, which everyone thought it was going to be. And then on top of that, you don't have to face Jokic in the finals. He's not there. It's the Mavs. You look at the year before that. The Nuggets got to play the 8-seeded Heat in the finals who run out of their magic juice. And so that was gone. And they also didn't have to play a 50-win team in the playoffs at all. Not one. They didn't play one single 50-win team. You look at the Warriors finals runs, I would have to check and look, but they play an inexperienced Celtics team in those middle rounds. Who did they play?
They beat Dallas in the conference finals.
Yeah, they didn't get the Suns. The 60-win Suns,
they had
the big bad
Memphis.
Suns weren't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a good team loses every year. You know, a player gets hurt every year. That's just kind of how it is. Robert Williams wasn't fully healthy for the playoff run. Whatever you want to say, like, we always talk about, I feel like saying the path was there for them. Not that you're like wrong. Like it's a completely valid concept because if the Thunder aren't there, then theoretically it should be an easier thing. But it kind of falls under the same vein, at least in my brain, of, oh, fake championship because this player was hurt. It's always like that. Every
Well,
single year,
that's not what I was
I know
getting
that's not
at.
what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, in my head, I feel like those two narratives or things are similar. Like, I don't know. It's like I said, you live in the present moment because that's the job. That's what you have to do when you talk about these things. We literally sit here and talk for 30 minutes to an hour every single day about the team. Like, you have to be a prisoner of the moment. But in a time like this, like, obviously, we're going to sit here, we're going to talk about everything. They sucked ass. There's really not much else you can say about game 6, right? Like, they just didn't have it. They were terrible. Jaylen Brown fouled out in the third quarter after being the only guy who could put the ball in the basket. And the Knicks made every shot after the half. They were Celtics were with it in the first quarter, even when they weren't scoring. Then the defense slipped a little with the offensive rebounding in the second quarter, but they were still kind of hanging on. And then the Knicks just started making everything. And the Celtics, like, it is what it is. Like, there's only this is a regular season game. If this game 6 was a useless regular season game and everything that happened in it, we literally would say, yeah, whatever, we'll move on to the next. Like, that is how it is. It's just the context of everything that unfolded before this that makes it, holy shit, they just blew up in our face. And because they did, right? And this is not I put in the article, like, it is through no fault of their own that this happened. I don't care about the Tatum injury in this context. I don't care about whatever. Like, they lost this series. They were going to be down 3-1 regardless of Jason Tatum.
Correct.
Everyone can talk about, could they have come back down from 3-1 with Tatum? Sure, maybe. But they lost the series before that. Like, Tatum injury is not why they lost this series. But regardless, in the grand scheme, like, the context is they lost, and maybe they would have won the title if Tatum was healthy. Maybe they would have won, the title if they had not blown to those games, but they did. And I don't know, like it is what it is. And every year there are teams that this happens to. Every year there are teams who go on these crazy runs, and I think people are like a little bit surprised. You're like, oh my god, Knicks Pacers conference finals. I think the Knicks in the conference finals is definitely surprising. I feel like people are consistently underappreciating that the Pacers were here last year, and like, this is
people
like,
outside New England are just like,
exactly.
Pacers. What do you mean the Pacers?
Yeah, this is the
Pacers are really good. Like, my group chat was going nuts about the Pacers today because I told you about the one friend I have that like supports the Pacers as like a long-term bit, which is just like, he like does the bit like 1 month a year when the playoffs happen. But like, we're all like, fuck the Knicks, roll Pacers, whatever. And someone was like, we're going to see if the Pacers are a real ? And the dude was like, they've been real. And I was like, Dave, they were the best team the Celtics played last year. Like, they were actually really good, and they're still really good. And they beat the Cavs because they're really good. Like, the Pacers are no joke. I'm really rooting for them, be pulling for them. Yes, sirs, as they say on the T-shirts there, right? Not a bad slogan. Power rank that and different here. Which one's better?
Yes, sirs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, sirs.
I've always thought different here is kind of silly, but they won with it and they ran it back. But like, yeah, my point about like the way the results have unfolded in the playoffs is not so much to discredit whoever wins. It's just like the Celtics would have been favored in every series. Right. Like, and if OKC doesn't get to the finals, then they will have had pretty good success against whatever team comes out of the West, right? Like, they did not beat OKC this year. They didn't look great against OKC. In going into the playoffs, that was the team I was like, like if they play OKC and they lose to OKC, you kind of shrug and just say, well, that was like their year and they were ready for the moment and they had their mega season where, would they win 68 games?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, they were an incredible team this year, and they had a strong cast of star players and great role players. We'll see what happens to them later today as you guys are listening to this. Maybe they lose to Denver, but Aaron Gordon's got a hamstring strain, so that's going to play a...
Do you know if he's playing yet?
I don't know. My guess would be no, if you want my... Or he'll do what OG did last year in Game 7, like try and then play 5 minutes and not really play again.
Yeah. On top of that, you have which we can talk about. Jaylen Brown has been playing or finished the postseason with his partially torn meniscus. Which, I mean, it was so clear he wasn't healthy, right? Like, it was so obvious that he was not at full strength during the playoffs. And credit to him, he turned out a very, very good playoff run by and large. This is just going to add more fuel to the fire of what's going to happen, though, right? And before we talk about that, I do need to tell you guys about Gametime. It's the best place for all your ticketing needs. Sorry, I checked the timestamp, and I do need to tell you right now. It's the best place for all your tickets. I can pull it up right here so I can show you some of the best features over on Gametime. My favorite feature is that you can see the exact view from the seat that you are going to be sitting in. That's my email. Don't look at that. You can check here. This guy, Raul Alejandro, is going to be at TD Garden. But TD Garden, instead of the basketball, you can see the arena view with the show. So you can check here. You can see the exact view from seat. The fire emoji means you're getting the cheapest ticket available. You can toggle on and off the features that will tell you the fees as well, so you don't get surprised with any hidden fees. Plus, last minute deals mean you can save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Anyways, what I was saying. Sorry, Jalen injury. If he has to have surgery, and it's right now it's unknown if he does have to have surgery, it doesn't seem likely, since it's only a partial, that he would have to miss too much time. If Jalen has to miss time to start next season, it opens up a whole new world of questions.
We're gonna have to buy Army helmets
this summer. Oh my God, it's hard because if Jalen, go ahead, you talk. I'm not gonna ramble. I'll ramble in a second.
The tank talk emerged when the Achilles tear happened.
You can't tank. You can't.
Why not? You have your own pick. This is the optimal time to tank.
No. Not can't from a perspective of you shouldn't. Can't from the perspective of the East is not good enough to tank for the Celtics. You would have to trade Derek White and Peyton Pritchard too. If you have Derek White and Peyton Pritchard leading the team, plus Al Horford if he wants to come back, and you're not going to say no, don't come back, right? Yeah, you're too good. You're too good.
No, we don't want you back.
Exactly, right? Like the most tank, quote unquote, you can get if you're the Celtics is Jaylen Brown hurt for the first X amount of months of the season, Jason Tatum hurt for a little bit, and then Derek White and Peyton Pritchard leading the charge. It would be trading Drew Holiday and trading Kristaps Porzingis. And if you look at the state of the Eastern Conference with what the Bucks are probably going to be, with what the Heat are going to be, with this version of whatever they're doing, with what everything is going to be, you're going to be a play-in team?
Let's do a
is
quick.
It worth taking at that point?
Let's do a quick Eastern Conference.
Okay, I've got it.
We don't have to put in any order. Cleveland, they'll be good again.
Sure.
Indiana will be good again. Knicks will probably run it back.
Yep.
Orlando will be competitive.
Yep.
Pistons will be competitive. The Sixers are going to be back.
Sure, said that this year. Sure, but they'll be back enough.
Well, they're going to have a top 3 pick. They're going to have Jared McCain back. Maxey, Embiid will have essentially a whole year he had off. Okay.
I'm putting that as maybe just because I don't know what Embiid will ever look like again.
Correct. Sure, fair enough.
Even if that's 6, you're saying the Celtics would have to be better or objectively worse than for it to be worth it. The Heat, Hawks, Bulls, Bucks, Nets, Hornets, Wizards. You cannot.
Some of those teams are real bad. They're bad.
You cannot. I think without Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, and Drew Holiday, the Celtics would still be better than the Wizards, then the Hornets, then the Bulls, then the Nets. So what are you going to trade Derek too? Because then what do you do when?
Well, there is a chance in relation to those teams, right? There is a chance that Giannis, the Bucks are bad, and Giannis is on a different East team.
I don't think so. I think he gets traded.
You feel like it's a foregone conclusion? It's going to be San Antonio or something.
I don't think. I mean, foregone is. I think it is 75 to 80% that he'll be in the Western Conference.
Okay. I mean, I'm not complaining. Long term, not complaining. I mean, all of those teams are ass currently. Currently ass. Correct. The Sixers got the 3rd pick. Mm-hmm. If you're a Sixers fan on May 17th, 2024, having a chat about this,
but then what's your version of tanking?
I think there's a world where it's you start the season and this Jalen thing is the first domino, right? Jalen's got to have surgery and misses time. And then the team gets off to an awful start. Things go worse than you thought they would with White and Pritchard running the show. They're not as able to compete as you would imagine. Not to say that you're wrong, because I don't think those two are bad players at all. I think they're very competent. They're very good at creating offense when they're asked to do so. I don't think we should take credit away from them and act like they can't compete, because that would not be fair. But
for what it's worth,
go on.
quick Google says recovery from a partial meniscectomy, whatever, typically takes 4 to 6 weeks. So I don't think Jaylen Brown will miss time.
Okay, well,
But
that's fine.
depending on how he looks after this.
The door is open for them to be like, let's do it in September and see. Like if they have like their like head honchos meeting at the Auerbach Center, and they somehow land on maybe they want to be bad for AJ, who's from Massachusetts, right? I'm not saying that this is the best way to go. I'm saying it is something people have discussed, so we're discussing it.
It is sure, and I'm not saying it's wrong to discuss it. I don't think it's worth scrapping an entire season for what will likely be a 4% chance at landing AJ DeMonza.
Imagine if you get him.
No, it's just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Like, because really think about it. The amount of teams you would have to be worse than is impossible to get there if you still have Jaylen Brown coming back before post All-Star break, right?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
It's just
with
impossible. It's impossible, and it's illogical in my opinion. You can't tank shit, man. I still think if Jaylen Brown is fully healthy for the start of the season, and we don't know what that will look like anymore because of surgery, right? We don't know if he'll be fully healthy. But let's say Jaylen Brown's fully healthy for the start of the season. If you trade Kristaps, because I think you have to trade somebody to get under the second apron, that's an inevitability, and I think that is the most obvious option at this point. And
Can we do a quick, like, I don't want to do trade power rankings, but like we'll go through each guy, say percentage you think they're gone.
This is what I'm saying.
Kristaps, what percentage do you think he gets traded? Okay.
Let me finish this thought first. If Jaylen is healthy for the start of the season, and you keep everybody but Kristaps, right? Keep Drew, which maybe is unlikely at this point. Al comes back. I still think you're a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference with no Jason Tatum. Like, I just think they can be that good, especially when you consider that Peyton Pritchard still has another leap to take, in my opinion. You've got Derek White, who can probably do a little bit more, and you'll see what that looks like or whatever. You're going to have to get creative. You're going to have a $14 million DPE, which maybe you don't want to spend. Maybe you do want to spend, depending on how much you save on the Kristaps trade. Like, there are avenues to where I don't think taking will be worth it. And then maybe, depending on how quickly he recovers, Tatum will be back by the playoffs. And I'm not saying that's, root for that or push him back, obviously, but if there's any guy who will want to come back and will come back as soon as he can, it's that motherfucker. So there's that. Anyways, percentage game. What we're doing?
All right, so I'm gonna give you the guy that's like on like I'll say the 3 guys in the starting lineup that aren't Jason Jaylen. Okay, we'll put Jaylen in there too. Why not?
Sure.
So guys not named Tatum. We'll start with Porzingis. What percentage chance do you think he's traded?
98.
I'm right there with you. I think he's gone.
He's gone.
Sadly. I feel like he was emotional on the bench last night. Like, he was saying in the locker room, like, he's really enjoyed being a part of this organization. Like, and he clearly has bonded with the fan base here. Like, they embraced him. He always gets love at the Garden. But the money is kind of expendable. And also, he's on an expiring, so he's easier to move. The illness throws a wrench into it. I think the only way Porzingis is back if they really feel like whatever offers are on the table are like negative.
I think they get rid of him anyways. You like, even if you have to attach a first round pick to get off his contract and you get back something mid, you literally have to get under the second apron, right? Like they're
What
like,
is the number they need to shed to get underneath? Do you know off the top of your head?
Right now. I can look right now. Celtics.
This is an important thing for me to learn because people in my life keep asking me, like, who do you think's gone? I'm like, Kristaps is gone.
I think it is $17 million. However, that is before re-signing Al. That is before re-signing Luke. That is before all of that other stuff. Like, it is $17 million before you make any other moves this summer.
Oh, that I did not know. I thought it was far more.
Well, it is far more in context because you have to sign minimum contract players. You're going to draft 2 people, so it's a lot closer to the 20 to 30 that Kristaps.
No, but I thought it was like 60. Like, I thought you had to get rid of 2 of these 3 guys.
No, not necessarily. I'm trying to find the exact number for you so I can see. I don't know exactly where to be. Let's see. Celtics second apron spot. I know it's somewhere on Spot Track. Salary apron tracker. Got it. So second apron for the 25-26 season. Celtics are projected to be 19.9 million. So I was close. 19.9 over
Not
that
bad.
second apron. Again, though, I'm pretty sure that is before a Luke extension, that is before bringing back Al, that is before all the people that you will have to sign, that is before the draft picks. So you're gonna need to make some moves and figure it out. And for what it's worth, over the second apron means team becomes hard capped and can't use/do tax MLE. You can't aggregate two or more. You can't send out cash in a trade. You can't acquire a player using a TP that was created via previous sign and trade. You can only re-sign your own free agents, sign draft picks, sign players to minimum contracts, and make trades where one player sent out. Like that's all the restrictions, and that's without even all the penalties that come with being a second apron team for multiple years.
Okay, well, that is a smaller mountain than I thought. So maybe they're back.
Sure.
Maybe the tank is off. All right, we'll go Drew Holiday next. What percentage possibility do you think it is that he gets moved?
I'm probably around. That's the hardest one by far. That is the toughest one. I'm gonna say like 65 gone.
I'm like 70, 80. Like that's where I land. Yeah. The reason why I think he is less expendable, but he is being paid more than he is asked to do on this team. His contract is lengthier than Porzingis's, and he's older than Porzingis. So this is like the trade him a year early instead of a year late move, where their hands are kind of tied. Like, because if they hold on to him next year, it's going to be harder to get rid of him, and they may have to do this dance again, and then you end up being in a position you don't want to be in, or maybe you have to cut corners somewhere else because you can, or you have to give up assets, which I don't think you want to do either. The Celtics are in a really good position right now. They have every pick except the 29 pick swap, whatever the one they gave up for Derek White that everyone was so butthurt about when it happened.
Yeah, it might be 28 for top 1%, I think. Okay, yeah, no, I'd go like 65. I think my thing with Drew Holiday is he's so clearly still able to impact winning at such a high level, especially in the playoffs.
Agreed.
And I think if you plan on being a competitive team next year and you can keep Drew. The problem is just it's going to be a lot harder, I think, than the $20 million over the cap indicates to get under that and stay under that consistently. And we were already talking about trade Kristaps this summer, trade Drew next summer. Well, if this summer doesn't come with the idea that you have Jason Tatum to compete for a championship with, then that changes a lot of things. So, yeah.
That's very realistic. Like the Tatum thing shifts all this. It shifts the urgency. It allows the front office more leeway to just be all right, let's take care of this now, and then we can see what options are available next year. All right, let's move. Derek White, percentage.
0.
I say 10 to 15.
No, 0% chance. I would be more shocked than I have been at any single NBA. I would be more shocked than actually no. You know
Put
what?
on the quote card. Put it in the short. Say it.
I'll go 2%, and because I was about to say any event, I would not be more shocked than the Luka trade. But I'll give you 2% chance. I do not think they trade 0. I'm going back to 0. There's no chance they trade. I stand on that. They will not trade Derek White.
I was right there with you in 0 land until I was talking with Jake yesterday, and Jake kind of planted the seeds in my head. He was like, well, what if they get a Mikal Bridges type thing back, and you're getting 5 first-round picks for Derek White, and you're just like, maybe you like that because with the new CBA, those draft picks are so much more valuable. You need those cheap contracts. Draft picks allow you opportunities to bring in guys on cheap deals where you can see what you think of them, not really be risking putting yourself in the second apron. Maybe you even have a luxurious few years where somebody's playing far above their pay grade and you get that to it as well. But I'm with you. I think Derek is the most valuable in terms of the money he is being paid for what he does and gives the Celtics, where it's hard to replicate that sort of value even if you get draft picks back.
Would you trade let's say 5 years of contention for 5 first-round picks.
No.
That's what it comes down to for me. You are trading a top tier, one of the best third options in the NBA for 5 first-round picks that you don't know what the value is. The reason the Knicks or the Nets, everyone was like praising that, they were never going to be good this year. Like, even if they kept Mikal Bridges, they were never going to be good. And so they got an incredible return. And shit, it's paid off for the Knicks, right? With Derek White, you were talking about selling him and getting 5 first-round picks, and that's all great because next year maybe you're not contending. Jason Tatum didn't die, right? Like, he's not gone forever, right? So he's going to come back, and when he does come back, you still need to have elite pieces around him. So trading Derek White, who is, again, in my opinion, the best third option or one of the best third options in the NBA, one of the best role players, one of the best, championship level guys in the league for 5 first-round picks is all well and good until you're then left with the 2021 Celtics, where it's a bunch of picks, nothing to show for it. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Jabari Parker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not worth it.
Bring Jabari back, man. I liked him. He deserves a ring. Justice for Jabari. No, I mean, if you want to make a picks argument, like on your side of it, where you're like, fuck them picks, right? Look no further than the Warriors. The Warriors got all these picks. Well, like, the Warriors did, like, the conspiracy thing I'm talking about on this show, where I'm like, well, what if they just said, fuck it, Jason's hurt, punt the season, try and get a top pick. The Warriors literally got the second pick in the draft, got nothing out of it, and that was the end of it. They wasted that whole season. Steph was hurt too, but, like, that is the sort of thing that, like, you think of the peaks of it. It's like, oh, wow, like, you could be like the Spurs when they had David Robertson and he missed the whole season, and then they get Tim Duncan in the draft to play with him. And, like, in my head, that's what I'm talking myself into. I'm like, what if they get AJ? What if they get AJ, right?
What if they get Cam Boozer? What if they get Darren Peterson? Like, there's so many
I actually don't want the other guys. Like, I only want the guy from Massachusetts. That's it. But no, like, it could go horribly wrong. They could get AJ and he could suck. And then you're like, damn, man, like, you wasted that whole season. You don't want that. So I think keeping Derek White is a no-brainer move. If they traded him, I would be disappointed. I am not advocating for that. I just heard the offer and I was like, well, like, if they really want to commit to just going a certain way and kind of retooling and trying to build, like, another era of success, like, maybe that's what they want to do. And that's the 10% chance, whatever I gave it.
I get it. I just don't think it's worth trading. Like, you can't gut your title core that much. Like, Tatum being out 1 year shouldn't say, okay, let's just reset the entire roster around him. Because then you also run the risk of you're in the Bucks situation where you gutted a lot of stuff and it really didn't work.
Giannis and the boys.
You have a very clear blueprint of what can work, and it is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and then great role players around them. And I'll include Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis as role players because that's the role they played on the Celtics. If you have the chance to keep that when Jason Tatum comes back for his injury, you keep it and you fix everything around him. And that's where I think the rest of it comes in. Before we continue, I'm going to tell you guys about CLNS Media. If you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to it on the How About Them Celtics YouTube channel. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe there. We'd appreciate it very much. Hit the notification bell so you know every time we drop an episode. We have new shows, new videos on this channel every single morning, dropping at 5 a.m. That's not changing in the summer. You'll still get a new thing in your inbox every single day, no matter what. Kylian Mbappe will be there. Also, though, jump on over to the CLNS Media YouTube channel, subscribe there, turn that notification bell on. You have all the Celtics press conferences, locker room, and at the podium. Even though the season's over, you'll get all the content there. You'll get the Garden reports, you got their stand-ups. Plus, on the Celtics All Access channel, which you should subscribe to as well for CLNS, you can get all the great podcasts. You got Boston, you got Dome Theory, you got the Garden Report, you got First to the Floor, you got the A-List, everything you can possibly imagine. So make sure to check that out. Leave a like, subscribe. We'd appreciate you very much. Okay, back to what we were talking about. You want to do Jaylen? You want his percentage? Is that where we're at?
Jaylen percentage. Go.
If Derek White for me was at 0, I would put Jaylen at 1% or 0.5%. I think it is only slightly above Derek White because of the small, teeny, tiny inkling where, yes, they are $20 million in the second apron. Trading a $30 million contract and a $55 million contract is the world of difference, If you want to talk about solving literally every single financial issue this Celtics team around Jason Tatum could possibly get into, trade Jaylen Brown's contract, you'd be fine. The problem with that is you don't have Jaylen Brown anymore. And so the only reason I'm going to put it 0.1% or whatever above Derek White is because he makes more money. It is not for any other reason other than that. I don't think you trade Jaylen Brown. I think he is too good of a player to trade for whatever return you could possibly get. You do not waste any years of contention you will objectively have with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White. There is no if you have those three on your team, you will be a title contender. Point blank, period. I don't give a fuck what the rest of the roster looks like. That is how good they are. You do not waste that for any amount of picks, and the only reason I am ranking them not 0-0 is because Jaylen Brown makes more money. You don't trade those two guys. That is it. That is it. That is all.
Yeah, I'm like at like 5%. I don't think so. I think Jaylen really. This is not how front offices work, but like any inkling I really felt like where I could talk myself into it, like, man, like maybe they go and like try and like split the timeline where they have a new era coming in to play alongside Tatum, like that kind of thing was erased at the end of this series. I was just like, Game 5, like, what a leader, what a captain, like, keep him. He's earned it. And I think Jaylen really cares about the organization, the city. Like, I think the Celtics would actually look really kind of bad if they traded Jaylen too. Like, I don't think it would be great. It wouldn't be great. However, listening to you talk about it, like you trade his $60 million for like $30 million, you cut $30 million that way, and you still have like a $30 million probably valuable player because Jaylen's not like a bum. Like you had to get something back in return for Jaylen.
There is also
you kind of talk yourself into it. You're like, Tatum comes back, watch out.
There's also the issue of you have to match contracts and trades for most teams unless they have salary space, and so you have to reroute other salaries elsewhere to teams that do have space and spend more money and more assets doing that. And also, like, let's be perfectly clear, the difference between a max player and a $30 million player has never been greater. Jaylen Brown makes $53 million next year. Some examples of $30 million players that you're referencing: Kristaps, Julius Randle, Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum, RJ Barrett, Anthony Simons. The gap has never been greater.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think Jake was talking about Jalen Johnson yesterday and was like, I think it might have actually been a chat message that he pulled up and was like, look, maybe, but your ultimate goal is Jalen Johnson turns into Jaylen Brown. So why bother?
Exactly. It's just not worth it. You don't trade Jalen. You don't trade Derek. You run it back with those guys.
You know who I think's gone?
Who? Hauser?
See you later, buddy. Hauser. Goodbye.
Why?
I think the $10 million is like a contract that you can get progress in cutting back your costs, and his skill set is valuable for that money, so your return would be worth it. If that makes sense.
I get it. My thing with Hauser is I don't think people appreciate how rare it is to find a shooter as consistent as Sam Hauser. Like, you don't get that. Sam Hauser is
I felt like Hauser was pretty inconsistent this year.
And then what did he shoot from three?
He was still like 40 plus. He was like 43%. Like, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Sam Hauser has never shot below 40% from three.
No, he has not. And he's been good at it. And I'm not trying to like hate on him. I know like I've trashed him a couple times this year. I just didn't think he wasn't at the same level that he was last year. He had the back problem. And sure, I think once he got healthy, he was a lot better. But that makes me feel like he was a little inconsistent. He got hurt in the playoffs, which I don't really think we should take away that he rolled his ankle. Sure. But I don't know, man. He didn't move me this year. It wasn't the same as, and you know, when you're making $1 million versus $10 million, I think that also, actually, he might have made $1 million again this year and then makes $10 million next year. Nonetheless, if a team wants to trade for the $10 million from Hauser, it really could be an easy avenue to getting rid of that salary, if that is your primary goal.
I get it. And there's also the thing of you have Shireman, so you have another wing on the bench you can maybe get something out of. I'm not going to say 0%. I'd probably put it like maybe 50-50 if Hauser is here or not. Maybe 40, 60 being keep him. I just think people underestimate how valuable having a 40% shooter who shoots 40% every year, who's realistically, for as much as he did struggle, I think more this year, not a bad defender, right? Like it's not like he's a liability on that side of the floor. I don't know. It just it's tough to give away a guy like that on that contract, especially considering you just extended him for that number. And for the most part, if you have a guy who is that consistent from three, you're not going to get him for that number. Like that is a very good number. And I get that that's also inherently what makes him somewhat valuable. But like, I don't know. It's a risky game to be playing, giving that up, in my opinion. There are only 22 players in the NBA who shot 40% or better on more than 5 3-pointer attempts a game.
How many of them are on this team?
How many of them are on this team? Well, Kristaps was technically one, Pritchard was one, and Hauser was one, and that's it.
I knew those three. I wasn't sure if there was anybody else.
And if you want to cut out the guys who didn't play in enough games, let's say you also want them to play in, I don't know, 70 games a season, because people don't talk about that skill set or that necessity either. I don't know if Hauser reached that mark. How many did Hauser play in? Look at that. He played at least 70 games. 13 players. 13 players in the NBA who played in that many games and shot that well from three. You don't find it. Like it's hard to trade that away when you know what you got.
Don't doubt it. I think they'll be fine either way. I just think that's another name that is in the the pot.
Sure. It is. I don't know what the rest of it looks like. I mean, we have plenty of time to discuss what trades
With
look
that
like.
being
I
said,
think we should do. I think we should have writers or people who cover other teams come on for like this person trade episode, and we should negotiate a trade with that person.
It's just the trade negotiation meme. It's like I receive, you receive, trade offer.
No, literally, we should do mock trades with people. We'll have to set
that
up.
Comments if you would like that. Tell us.
Oh no, don't tell us. We're gonna do it. I've already thought of the idea. I want to try it.
Okay.
Anyways, what were you gonna say?
I don't think there are other names outside of that are like see you later.
Don't trade Pritchard.
Pritchard is safe to me. His contract is like what, $8 million a season. He's staying. That is a no-brainer. You don't even really gain anything from trading him.
The biggest problem for me now is Luke, because I think it's going to be really hard to get him back here. Yeah, I think it's like 40% get him back, 60% he's probably gone, and I think that's being extremely generous.
Let's talk about the availability today. We'll start with Luke.
I will say
thoughts.
Luke talks a lot. I was gonna say, do you remember like X amount of months ago when I sat here and I said, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. If you need to trade Porzingis to keep Luke, you do it.
I mean, that might be what they're doing.
I kind of called it. Availability today. They all talked about a lot of the same stuff. It was a lot of dense quotes, so we can just like try to hit the highlights. Was there anything about Luke that stood out to you, or were you just saying it because I mentioned his name?
I mean, he just was like, I don't know yet. Got to spend time with my family. Like the generic, I might leave answer. You are very like flag planted. Horford is staying. I don't know how certain I am in that. I understand the logic behind it. I hope you are right. I don't want to see Horford play for another team. And I think he's like done the grass is greener thing. And he left one time and it didn't really work out anywhere. And he came back and was so happy to be back. It's also not, it's going to be hashtag different here next year. There's not going to be Tatum. You know?
I think he would retire before he goes to another team.
This was a point that Jake mentioned to me on one of the 3 streams we did yesterday. Not sure Ian Horford lets Al Horford leave.
It's true. I don't know, man. Like the first time I did feel a little about Horford being on this team next year was at the press conference today, because Jay King pointed out, he asked him, he's like, whenever you're asked about playing or not, you always say like, I don't want to retire. Has Tatum thing impacted you at all? Because multiple times today he was like, I don't know, I need to talk to my family, which is a very normal thing for a player to do. But Al has always been very adamant that he wants to keep playing.
Yes.
So we'll have to see, man. I'm going to stand my ground. I think he retires before he plays for another organization, but who knows?
I mean, I'd like him back. Wouldn't mind if he retired. they're not having his cap figure regardless. Like that isn't like he retires, so you just saved $10 million.
You also have to consider that the whole concept of, oh, maybe Al leaves because Tatum's not here is because he'll want to play for a title contender, and title contenders inherently have less money to dish out to pay him. And so if he's going to take a minimum, probably just going to take a minimum in Boston. So it's like,
sure,
that factors into things too.
Just can't go play for the Knicks. That's like the only one. And the Lakers.
I would be shocked if he played for
or Miami. The list just keeps going like longer. Like I'm just like remembering spiteful things about teams that I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't want him playing on this team either.
Philly.
Yeah, not Philly. Maybe Atlanta.
And why would he go to Atlanta instead of Boston at this point?
Don't know.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't seem likely to me. But
I really don't want him to leave. I just feel my percentage on him being on the team next year is like 50-50-ish.
Wow. Like, and what is so of that other 50? How much percentage of that is retire?
I don't know. I would say like they were so adamant that he doesn't want to retire. Like this whole season, his family would come out and be like, he's not retiring. He said he's not retiring. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's tough to go back on that, but not really, because I think everyone would understand. But I don't know. I just don't know where he's going to go play. Where is he going to go play? Does he go back to OKC? I don't think there's room for him.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I think he'll just be back next year.
I feel weird about it. That's all.
Understandable. Like, understandably so. Do we want to cut off Celtics talk there and talk more about it tomorrow? Because we have about 3 months to fill this stuff. I mean, I'm happy to keep talking. I am in no rush to go anywhere if there's more you want to talk about. But we have talked a lot.
No, we could think more about it tomorrow. I mean, we're going to have Steven's talk this week. Like, there'll be a little bit that comes out of that, or we can talk about this stuff. Final thoughts on them, because we talked about this before we went on the air, and then you were like, let's talk about it on the air, and we haven't talked about it on the air. I'm sad. Are you sad at all?
Sad in what way?
I have like a mixture of sad. I mean, I've been like really sappy with you guys, like over text. Like I was like, man, so sad the season's over when I was going to bed yesterday. I mean, I'm sad. I enjoy going to the games. I enjoy seeing everybody. Like it feels like the last day of school to me.
Yeah.
I like watching the games too. Like this is a big part of my life. So when it's like, hey, this isn't here anymore, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm sad not to be at the games. Sad not to see everybody. I'm sad I won't get to eat Lamont's food.
Yes, that's a big L.
Miriam, everyone who works for the Celtics is very kind. I'm gonna miss that. That's the biggest thing. Like I'm sad I don't get to do my favorite part of the job for what? 4 months now.
Yeah.
5 months now. I don't think I'm as emotionally invested from like a fan perspective as much anymore. Not that like that's a bad thing necessarily. I just think from being constantly like covering and looking at every detail for 5 years now, it's like kind of a natural thing that you have to. And I think I've separated my own like emotional happiness ups and downs from the results. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you don't do that. It's just kind of like how my brain has adapted to it. I at the same time am kind of excited for the summer. Like I a big like part of why I enjoy this is the excitement of change. I think it's natural. Not like that I want to see people gone. Like I don't really want to see Kristaps leave because I think he's a joy to cover. I don't really want to see Drew leave because he's a joy to cover, and they're both like very fun, good quotes, and you know it's obviously more fun to cover a championship team than it is to cover a second round exit team, clearly. But I think the excitement of what do they get in return? Who will those players be? What can we talk about? We can talk about the speculation. Who can they get at the draft? The draft personally is one of my favorite times of the year. I love scouting, like and seeing who they could pick. I love seeing the rookies. I love diving in. I love talking to Tyler Rucker from No Ceilings. I love Summer League. I think that was super fun. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for free agency. The stream we did last year was really fun. We'll do that again. Obviously, trades. Like, there's a lot to be excited about in the offseason. I love the offseason. However, when I'm going to be sad in my opinion, most sad is August and September.
I hate thinking about those months. Like, I mean, when Tatum got hurt, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, man, like it's coming. Those months are coming. They're creeping up,
exactly,
lurking around the corner, just intimidating months of nothingness and sadness, and
exactly.
I despise those months so much.
So
I'm still emotionally invested, especially like in this series. I hate the Knicks fans and everything. I'm so upset that they got to be happy, but I don't feel that way like every team they play. Like if they lost to the Pacers, I would be like, whatever. Like it would suck, but I feel similar to you in general, but I still get up for it sometimes.
I see. Yeah, and that's fair. Okay. Let's do emails, which I forgot we had to do, and we have so many emails. Do you want to do them in the video tomorrow, or do you want to do them right now? It's completely up to you. I feel bad because we haven't done them in like.
Why don't we just do them in an email video? Because like we don't have like film to look at unless you want to be like, look how terrible they were in Game 6.
We'll do them tomorrow. I apologize that we're not doing them tomorrow or not doing them right now at the podcast because I know some people look forward to them. If you are a person, and we can put the email episode out on audio platforms too, just so those people don't
miss
it. But we have like 9 emails.
We also have new people emailing us.
Yes, exactly. And so to do the emails right now, 50 minutes into the podcast, feels a little cheap. And
I think we should actually just wrap the podcast because I don't care about talking about a preview until both of the series are set. Like I'm not joking. Like I think that's like better content once we know.
That's fine.
OKC
do you want to do the rat
Denver.
List still?
We'll do the rat list and we'll get out of here.
Okay, rat list, Sam. It is Sam. I can't imagine what would possibly come to mind right now. What you would be upset about. So let's hear what your rat list is.
Would you like to guess? Like not a general guess. Like what specific thing I'm gonna say
from this? Well, it's gonna be something about Kansas 6. So what are you gonna say? Are you gonna rat list like Timothy Chalamet or something like some stupid?
No, not Chalamet. I think Chalamet's a real fan. Like whatever. He gets like
they're all real fans.
Respect. No, but like the celebrities like are kind of
sure.
But, like,
okay, sure.
You know, like not
the Knicks fans
not that he's
throwing trash at the Pacers fan.
That was not what I was gonna rat list, but that can be included. Okay. Rat list the fucking Knicks fan that went up to Wendy and was like, "What'd you think, Wendy?" And then we're like, "Go fuck yourself." Like, don't be mean to Wendy. I like Wendy.
Wendy was laughing too. Wendy was laughing.
I know he was laughing, but he's probably like really uncomfortable. Like they ran up to him with a camera in his face, and they were like, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh, that was so funny. But yes,
these people have no idea how to be. I mean, the throwing trash at the Pacers fan, unreal.
My mom just texted me, "I will not watch the Celtics if they ditch Ollie." Ollie is what she calls Peyton Pritchard because she thinks he looks like Ollie's from Hoosiers, just this small white kid.
Okay. My mom is like a lot of Celtics fans. They gravitate towards Pritchard.
Rat list the bus I took last night. So I need to like paint you a picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first, I'm gonna move my mic cord, so we're gonna pray.
I lost you. As soon as you said I'm gonna pray, you got to pray, and then it was gone. Like it couldn't have been comedically timed better for you being without confidence in your equipment, and then your equipment to back you up on your vote of non-confidence.
Yeah, and now I'm on my camera microphone, so I need to.
No, you sound fine.
It's too late.
Now you're on the camera microphone. Bonus rat list in real time is Jack's microphone for Jack.
I'm back.
No.
What do you mean no? It tells me I'm on the share microphone in my audio setting. Hold up.
And it. Yes, you're good.
Oh, we made it. Bus. 1:30 a.m. bus. Right. Get there. Get to the place. Right. Get to the bus. Bus not there.
Whoa.
1:20. Bus not there. Oh, okay. 1:25. Bus not there. 1:30. You got a guess for me?
Not there.
Bus not there. Look on the board. Departures board. Bus there. 1:30. On time. I'm like, okay, I'll be here soon. 1:38. Bus no longer on the departures board.
Whoa.
That's not good. Security guard in the lot. completely useless. Everyone's going up to him. What's up? He goes, I don't know. I'm just a security guy. I don't know anything about the bus. Call the buses. We're like, call the buses. And so I feel a little bad for him because it's technically not his job, but like, you gotta have some idea, man. And he's like looking at the board, and he's got like an accent, so I think there's some small language barrier there. He's like, "Oh, that's weird." I'm like, "Yeah, it's weird, man. You got fucking 90 people in this lot waiting for buses because there's two buses. There's one to Boston, there's one to Henrico, which is like Virginia. It's like DC area, right?"
Okay.
So we're all waiting. 2 a.m. comes around, bus gets there, so 30 minutes late. Every person in the lot, and keep in mind, this is the lot filled with two people waiting for buses, rushes to the entrance of the bus. Bus is like honking, honking, honking. Get the fuck out of the way. I'm going to run you over. Everyone gets up to the front, starts scanning their tickets. And Boston, DC, Boston, DC, like it's a mess because everyone's trying to get on one bus that half the people are not supposed to be getting on. Get on the bus. Sit down. Pick a random seat because it's a free-for-all. We all have assigned seats. No one fucking listens to these assigned seats. It's a free-for-all. You sit where you sit. I sit down. I move back a few seats because I'm like, oh, I'll sit here and then they can sit there. Terp and Bobby were on the bus too. They end up sitting in the original seats that I was in, and I sit like by myself a few rows back. I'm like, all right, I didn't communicate that with them, so I'll sit back here. Sit down. Everyone's getting on the bus. Everyone's getting on the bus. Everyone's getting mad. And also, before we even get on the bus driver gets off. He goes, all right, get on, like screams, like angrily screams. And we're all like, you're late. What are you yelling for?
He should have been mad at you guys.
And so
the nerve of you to book that ticket overnight.
So we're all climbing on the bus. And as people are getting the bus, it is rapidly becoming clear to me that this is going to be a full bus. Every single seat in this bus is going to be filled. Now, if you don't know anything about the buses, it is more often than not, I have had my own 2-row seat on the bus because that's just usually how it goes. And on a 4-hour bus ride, that is very nice. It is very nice to have your own seat to yourself.
Especially as a tall person.
That did not happen. I sit down. I know somebody inevitably sits next to me. I sit next to this guy. Or he goes, that's my seat in there. I'm like, it's free for all. I know, I'll get up. He goes, no, you're good there. That one. I'm like, oh, cool. Guy sits down. Seems nice. Didn't really talk to him. It's fine. Lady gets on the bus. That's my seat. To the person in front of me. Old lady, 60 plus, maybe 70. That's my seat. The person sitting in her seat is sitting in a seat across the aisle from people she is clearly with. Also, don't know how well they spoke English. She is not getting up. The guy next to her, who the lady is also trying to talk to, goes, somebody's in my seat too. Like, I'm just sitting here. Like, I'm sorry, can you sit somewhere else? Whatever. She is not moving. There's a line of people behind her waiting to get on the bus. She is not moving. This happens for 5 minutes plus.
No,
and that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but like that's a lot of time when everyone is waiting to leave.
Oh, yeah.
So eventually I go, ma'am, do you want to sit here? I will move. So I get up, let her sit where I was sitting because it's a 1 row behind her aisle seat. And I just pick another aisle seat, like 1 row back. And at that point, the row was empty. Like the 2-person seat was empty, but a woman ended up sitting next to me. And that was fine. And so I'm like, whatever, I'll just sit back here. Little did I know, I sat in a seat. You want to guess what the person in front of me did?
Oh, no. No, they reclined.
The whole night. The whole ride.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
Wait, so was the person in front of you the guy that had initially sat next to you?
No, it's like a random. It's a random. Because I sat here and I got up and sat in a row, one back, but like diagonally. So like behind 2 different people. And so I sit down, recline the whole night. And I don't have any space to put my legs anywhere else. So I'm like putting them in the aisle for most of the evening. And the person next to me, like the aisle, is also deciding to do the same thing. So I have half the aisle to put my foot across in. And then halfway through the night, the woman in front of me who has her seat reclined puts her hand down in the aisle, like dangling here. And so I kick it and I go, oh, I'm sorry. So I move my foot back and she like moves her arm. Like, we both like naturally hit each other. Like, when you recoil, like, oh, sorry. And then she puts her arm back. I'm like, that is not the solution here. The solution here is you keep your arm in your fucking seat, you stupid bitch, because you reclined your seat and ruined my leg space. You're ruining the literal only other place I can put my legs. That is the only place I can. My legs don't physically fit where they're supposed to be because your dumbass is reclining the seat. The least you could do is let me put them in the aisle and move your stupid arm. I was so mad. And then to make matters worse, around 4 a.m., we stop in the middle of the highway. Pull over. He takes a fucking smoke break in the best drive. When oh my God, the levels of bullshit. I was so mad. It was miserable on that bus. And then we get out at Brookline and he yells, "All right, get out." And like he screams at us to get off. I'm like, I'm going to punch this guy. Like I wanted to kill him. To his credit, he sped and we got there at the scheduled time despite him being 30 minutes late. He cut off like 4 different people on the highway. He was real close to tailgating
he was a dog.
Not a safe boat ride. He's an ass. It was miserable. And I can only imagine what Terp and Justin and Dan did on the way there because they were on the bus for like 6 hours on a packed bus because of traffic.
Yeah.
So, like, that was horrible. An indescribably bad experience.
For context, that those who did not like tune into pregame yesterday, Jack went to New York overnight at 1:30 a.m. He left early in the morning, was there all day in the city with no like hotel place. He stopped in like the CLNS room and like rested for a minute, and then went to the game, watched them get fucking shit pumped, and then had to go and wait for the bus not be there, and then deal with Mr. Smokey the bus driver pulling over.
And I would do it again, but it was certainly brutal, for sure.
That is a rough day. Ratless.
I had the type of sleep this morning. I slept from like 6 to noon, but I had the type of sleep where, because pressers were, I could be there for 12:30, where I didn't. There was no like, oh, wake up, go back to sleep. There was no like, it was REM sleep and then wake up and go do something. Like I woke up and I had to be awake. And when I fell asleep, I fell right asleep. Like it was like boom, boom, which is not very good sleep in my opinion. Like it did not feel great. But anyways,
I was surprised that you responded to me at the time you responded to me. I was like, what time is the thing today? Because I wanted to know what my day was going to look like. And Jack was like 1, and that was all I got. And I said, oh boy, he's tired. He's
I had just
absolutely.
I had like 80 messages. I was like, what is happening?
So Ratlist is this woman that was driving a Jeep in front of me today. I drive a sedan. So I am low, if you want to call it that. I drive a fucking, like a go-kart at the moment. The way I have to hotwire my shit to turn it on, but that's neither here nor there. I'm low to the ground. I cannot see past larger vehicles. I cannot stand being behind something where I cannot see the light, because I don't know. I'm like, why are you not moving? I always just assume the light's green, even if they're not moving. I'm like, why don't you just drive? That's on me. But anyways, we get past the light. We go through the intersection. We both turn left, and we're driving in a 2-lane road up past TF Green Airport. She's in the right lane. I'm in the right lane. She's driving real slow. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting over. I'm passing. I look as I'm passing her, and she has some sort of device that's like, it looks like a shaving device where you're going like this, rubbing it up and down your cheek as if you're like plucking out little hairs. Like you ever like had the thing like you do like your eyebrows or something with it? Probably not. You do your eyebrows with the little thing, it plucks the little hairs out. Like that's what it looked like it was, but she was doing it to her face while she was driving. And I was like, well, no wonder you're going 25 and a 35.
Was it like a? I don't know exactly what it's called. The people. It's like a. Hold up, one second. It's like a gua sha. It's stupid, but I know it's a thing. It is a traditional Chinese thing that involves scraping the skin with a smooth. Look, I'll show you.
It's gonna be something like that.
It looks like this. This is what it is. I think it's silly, but this is what it is. Like this thing, gua sha, they're like rubbing a rock on their face.
It was similar. It wasn't like that though. Like it looked like an actual device, but it was that kind of like motion,
like a roller,
something. And I was just so mad.
Was it this thing? I've seen these a lot. Sorry, now I'm getting sidetracked because
no, that's all right.
Was it like this fucking thing, like this roller thing? Where people like roll shit on their face?
It wasn't exactly like that, but it was like it was shaped like a razor type thing. I didn't get a great look at it. Like I was still driving.
Yes.
But I was furious. I was like, who does this while they drive?
Awful. So annoying, man. I'll rattless the bus driver on the way there too, because I was like, and you know, I'm gonna rattless myself too. I was too kind in this situation. I should not have been. I told her, I was like, hey, do you mind like if I sit in one of those empty rows if no one else gets on? And she goes, we're gonna pick up people in Hartford, so like I wouldn't like do it. And like at that point I was like, all right, fine. So I sat next to somebody. The rows were completely empty on the way to Hartford. and then we picked up nobody in Hartford.
Yeah. You should have just sat there.
I said it's my own fault. I whatever. It was bad.
I understand the frustration though, but like they don't.
Actually,
I don't think the bus driver knows.
The Rose did get filled on the way to Hartford. They do know. They have an itinerary. They have like our names. I don't know. On a list
Oh, they
who's
do.
gonna have
Okay,
bus.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've only done the bus to New York one time. My dad and I did it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I
Anyways.
was like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah.
We did it.
That's all I got. I'm sure we're gonna have some extra fun, creative content for you guys. We'll do emails tomorrow. So looking forward to that. But I think we should try to make this fun, as fun as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want fun, look no further than the two of us.
Trade panels. I think we'll have. I think we'll try to do some
I'd like to try and do streams.
draft stuff. We're gonna do streams. I think I'm gonna try to do. So we can do trade panels here. I might low key try to do trade panels as like a short form stuff too for my TikToks because I think that could actually be a little bit fun as well. They'll be different enough. Like I'll get different people who cover different teams to do different stuff. So we'll split it up. But thanks for listening all year and keep listening. That doesn't mean go away.
Yes,
but appreciate you.
I said a nice little goodbye.
Yeah.
Last night, and I was
On
like,
the
"Well,
show.
let's hold off because Jack isn't here."
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate anybody that listens to us, even if you stumble upon us on accident and didn't come here on purpose, or you're a fan of another team. We appreciate it because it's a lot of fun doing all this, and we've done it well enough where we have a decent following and we can make some money from doing it. So, that's appreciated. We couldn't do that kind of thing without you guys, and it's really fun to have the platform to talk about the team we care about.
Yeah. Very fun. Well, like I said, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn the noti bell on, and all that same. Take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. We're here every day with new content, even though they're not playing anymore. So full pods, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps, morning after each game, other videos in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us streaming live for pregame next year when the games actually start again. Maybe I can stop saying that for the summer. But we do it, and we're going to try and find new fun summer content. Stick around. We'll be doing draft stuff. Jack talked about it. Spotify and Apple have all pods and recaps too, so if you just want the audio forms, go ahead, follow there. Leave a 5-star review. Tell your friends. We'd appreciate that very much. Would love to grow the channel still. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. I suppose you can shoot those in because we're going to be doing a mailbag video at some point today, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's Jack's My NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.